Hey Facebook, this is Boris Sanchez. We're live in East Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the middle of a flooded neighborhood to bring you the latest on these historic floods in Louisiana. This is known as a 500-year flood because the chances of this kind of rainfall, this kind of devastation, are 1 in 500. The rain has really been falling since last Wednesday. Communities here, some have gotten almost 3 feet of rainwater, believe it or not. The interesting thing about it, though, areas that didn't even get that much rain are being badly affected. This is one of them. This neighborhood is actually behind these homes. There's actually a bayou. It's known as the Manchac Bayou. And I want to take you around and show you some of the stuff we're seeing, some of the stuff that we don't have enough time to show you on TV. By the way, as we're walking around, I want you to comment your questions. Ask us whatever you'd like. I'm going to receive these on the phone and be able to answer your questions live. One thing that we haven't been able to describe, just to capture on TV, is the amount of debris that there is out here. You see this piece of wood that's just floated right by us. There's trash everywhere. You see all those trash bins over there? Down on the right-hand side, those just floated into that garage there. There's one over here as well. A lot of them have become untopped, and so you see the trash spread around. We've seen flip-flops. We've seen footballs, basketballs, a children's toy, just about everything you can imagine. There's a Miller Lite can over there. So the water itself is going to soon become a hazard, especially when you consider, if you see that car in the distance, the gasoline in that car essentially will soon get in the water. The oil that's in that car will get in the water. We've seen a lot of neighbors come out of their homes here in very quick succession. What happened here was that the water in that bayou overflowed and came into this neighborhood at about midnight early Saturday morning. One neighbor told me that she looked outside her window and it wasn't that bad out. She didn't think her home was going to be flooded out. And then as time passed, getting closer to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., that's when she realized she had to get out. She didn't have much time because there was about a foot of water that was going straight into her home. She actually told me that she came back here to try to retrieve some family photos that she had lost. And you're seeing a lot of that here, people coming back to their homes to try to see what they can salvage. Clearly, they didn't have enough time to get out. That home right there, there's a motorcycle out front. You can't see it now, but there was a ton of property on the front porch, just random things that people had gathered. To give you an idea of just how deep it is, I think that car right there is probably a good example. It was a little deeper just a short while ago. It is starting to recede, which is a very, very good sign. I'm going to stop for a second to take your questions off of Facebook. The first question, why isn't there proper draining? A couple of answers to that. There is proper draining, but what kind of drains can sustain 2 to 3 feet of rain in a very short window? It's very tough. The other problem is, as I was talking about before, the trash. Over time, once that trash starts to drain, it covers the drain, and then there's nowhere for that water to go. So the trash in itself is a huge problem, not just a safety risk as well for the quality of the water that is now lodged inside people's homes. I'm going to take another question now. How can we help? Go to CNBC.com. There is Impact Your World. There are specific links on there how you can send clothing or money to help people because it is desperately needed. I'll give you an example. We've been hearing reports, people have been called to go to shelters in case they have to leave their homes. Several shelters that we've heard have become inundated themselves. So even the people that were fleeing their homes are now having to flee the shelters that they were in. Help is badly needed. It's really there's something to be said, not only for the officials here in Louisiana, but also for the people, that there was not more loss of life. A lot of volunteers come out, gotten in their personal boats to go in neighborhoods and rescue not just their families, but even their neighbors. So the fact that over 20,000 rescues have been carried out in the state since Friday is really something spectacular. Here's another question. Are a lot of animals in danger? Certainly. It's really tough to have to put yourself in a position where you have to leave your home and then you have to consider, what am I going to do with my pet? Do I leave it behind? Do I take it with me? Where do I leave it if I'm homeless? Fortunately, there are neighbors that are helping quite a bit. Just a short while ago, a neighbor that lives behind us was going down this street in a kayak looking to get some cats that were stranded on the other side of these homes. She was able to retrieve them and bring them back in a cage. Now, hopefully they're being sent to their owner. She was also helping some neighbors that lived here by hosting some of their dogs. So it's really, again, a community effort, and the people of Louisiana have come out to support their neighbors, even when it comes to helping their pets. We got another question. What are some of the best rescue stories you've heard? Man, as far as the stories that we've seen, by far the best one has to be that lady that was in the red convertible. This video is going viral, so if you're on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen it. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're live in East Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm Boris Sanchez. We're showing you the extent of the flood damage here. Getting back to that car, it was this woman that had driven her car into a road that I guess she thought she could pass through. Clearly she could not, because the entire car became submerged, and she was unbelievably fortunate that just at that moment there was a group of volunteers that were in a flatbed boat heading toward her. They were able to rescue her. At one point you see a young man rip the top of her convertible off. He goes inside the water, grabs her, and then she clearly is overwhelmed by the emotion of the moment, not fully aware of what had just happened. She starts begging for her dog that was with her. We were talking about pets before. The young man then went back in the water and got the dog. It is an amazing video. We've been showing it to you all morning on CNN. That's also on CNN.com. You may be hearing the helicopters that are flying over right now. That's a Coast Guard plane, as a matter of fact. The Coast Guard has also been completing rescues from their helicopters, helping people that are in stranded areas, because as it happens with floodwaters like these, a lot of roads have been closed. A lot of areas of the state are completely inaccessible. They're essentially islands. With those helicopters, they've been able to go into those areas and rescue people. They've also been able to get into areas, highways, parts of the expressway that have been cut off by floodwater, where they've been able to bring water to people and other resources as well. We've got more questions now. Will water levels rise? That's really a difficult question to answer. Louisiana's Governor John Bel Edwards earlier said that because this is unprecedented, we don't know exactly where the water is going to go. And as I was referring to before, if you're just joining us, I'll explain again. It's not necessarily about where the rain fell. It's also where the water is eventually going to flow. This area didn't get that much rain, but as you can see, I'm above my knee right now in the water. That's because there's a lot of wetlands. There's a lot of bodies of water here in Louisiana. Behind us, there's a bayou. It's known as the sorry, I can't remember the Manchow Bayou, I believe. It's right behind us right now, and it overflowed into this neighborhood. That is going to continue to be a problem. We're in the south in an area full of swamps, full of rivers, full of lakes, and we're going to see the water continue to move not only south, but also westward. We're also expecting more rain. So overnight tonight into tomorrow, we're going to see at least some light rain, according to our experts. Again, Facebook, we're hoping to get more questions, so if you have anything you want to know, feel free to ask. One other question that we got: what is the government doing to help? So yesterday, the governor requested a state of emergency be declared here in Louisiana, a state of disaster, essentially, so that they could get government funding and more resources. The president today approved it for several counties. We're expecting that the president is going to approve it for all the counties that are requested, because obviously this is a disaster here in Louisiana. I understand that we've lost video right now. We only have audio, but either way, I wanted to thank you for joining us on Facebook Live for CNN. I'm Boris Sanchez. Keep watching CNN and stay on CNN.com for updates from this historic flood in Louisiana. Thanks for joining us. Oh, she just said, wait, don't rest.